Thank you so much. Quantum computing and AI, the next technological leap. Let's invite for this Mr. SreeramanThiagarajan, sir, founder of Agrahyah Technology.
சாப்பிட்டதுக்கப்புறம் துங்கா நகரத்தோட உண்மையான எஃபெக்டை காட்டுங்க. ஐஸ்கிரீமில் இன்னும் கூட்டமாக இருக்குது. ஸோ பட் இருக்கிறவங்க தேங்க்யூ. ரைட், லெட்ஸ் ஸ்டார்ட். ஸோ great to be here. I run a company called Agrahyah. We started as a conversational AI company about 7 years ago. We have many firsts. We made Alexa speak in Shah Rukh Khan's language. We made you can play Antakshari with Google Assistant. We have built entire connected car experience for 4 different automakers, and that's been our journey. And today we are taking it to the next level with agentic AI. But I'm not here to talk anything about what I do. Right? The topic we are looking at. Yeah. So is the quantum leap, the next big leap, right? So when computing changes, the world changes. For example, if some people with the gray hair might know what this is, but most of them are youngsters. Any youngsters knows what this is? What is this? Vacuum tubes, right? So from this to when we moved from this to our transistors, the world changed, right? So we have a sorry, one second, this getting used to this. Yes, so we went from each transistor being a size of a light bulb to billions fit into a microchip, so much so that today if there are billions in it, and it's almost breaking the Moore's law. It's not even when Moore's law came out, it said the transistors will double sorry, yeah. So when the Moore's law was, it was an observation that said transistors will double in quantity every 2 years and the size will reduce, and we have reached a physical limitation now. There are billions of transistors in a chip that is like a size of a coin, right? So what this has meant is more and more access to computers. It has changed how we study, how we work, how we do things, how we pay, everything. And in the early days, right, so when the transistor was new, anyone knows what this is? Looks like an electric meter or an auto meter. Anyone has any idea what this is? It had 4 KB of memory and 32 KB of storage space, and it was weighing around 30 kilos. Any idea what this is? Okay, I'll give you a hint. This is the hint. So any idea what this is? What this instrument is? No, it was the onboard computer of Apollo that put man on the moon. It had just 4 kilobytes of memory, just had 4 kilobytes of memory. Now, if you compare this to an average computer in your pocket, we all have one in our pocket, right? That is almost 2 million times faster. You look at an 8 GB smartphone today. In fact, some of you might complain 8 GB is too little. We need 12 GB, 16 GB, right? That is like millions of times faster than the computer that put man on the moon, right? And this is profound. I mean, this is really big. We have a supercomputer in our pocket. On a lighter note, what do we do with it? If you look at it, let's see, right? Free internet, almost free internet, super sized computer in a small pocket sized device, right? What can we do? Whatever we want, right? So that's, even if you look at the IMA report on internet, IAMAI's report, the highest use 700 million people, they are primarily on OTT, followed by communication, social media, and then shopping, and then 3% use internet for learning, 3%, right? So people have a choice. It's not everybody is using SAP and Oracle, but some of these products are built on some of those cutting edge technologies that touches billions of people, right? You think of an YouTube, think of a WhatsApp, think of a Facebook, billions. It's billions, right? So it's all running on some of the earlier technologies that came, earlier platforms and infrastructures that came out, right? So that's my theory. Every time a new computing changes, the world changes, right? And this is the global trend too. I mean, worldwide, it's if you look at it, there is TikTok is the number one, then Instagram. So while all of these are consumer apps, it's bound to be in billions. This is on a lighter side, but it's not all. I'm not saying everybody is wasting their time. This is people's choice, but it has changed how we do. For example, 10 years ago, if somebody had said, I will be an YouTuber as a career, my dad would have sent me out, even as recent as 10 years. Today, there are people whose job is a Twitch streamer, YouTube streamer, Instagram influencer. They have, I mean, I might have to work on Saturdays to pay my EMI, but they don't. They are doing better off, right? So the world has changed. We never thought you could be talking some random cooking videos or how to polish your car and make a living out of it, right? So that is the profound impact, right? And if you look at especially India, I teach digital transformation at IIM Trichy, and one of the case study I often use is the entire India stack or the digital stack that we have, right? That's the biggest example. India itself is the biggest example of digital transformation, right? So street vendor, boom boom made, right? Boom boom made has QR code on it, right? So there was even another one, the Bharat, in the Kalyana procession, right? Adla, people used to swivel money around the groom, then give. Now they don't have cash, so they are swiveling the phone around the groom and then UPIing it to them, right? So these are all hilarious to watch. These are all true examples of transformation. We all remember demonetization and standing in queue for an hour for the ATM. Now there is no concept of cash. Today you are going out for shopping, you just take your phone. You can forget your wallet and you will be comfortably fine, right? These are all some of the transformations that came because of the advancement in computing, right? So look at the entire India stack, right? 1.3 billion Aadhaar cards issued. That's the identity, which led to financial inclusion. For example, more than 500 million people who did not have a bank account, they have it. It would take about 6 to 7 months for them to get a bank account. Now it takes a minute for them to get it, 5 minutes at best, right? Because the identity layer has been established, the digital infrastructure layer has been established, and so on, right? So this has had profound impact. If you look at UPI alone, more than 10 billion transactions every month. That's little more than MasterCard, way more than MasterCard, just short of Visa globally. Visa global versus just UPI in India. And just in India alone, the UPI adds up to 46% of all global digital transactions. That is the impact thanks to the smartphone in our pocket, the supercomputer in our pocket, right? So this has all already happened, right? And then comes AI now. Last 2 years, AI has been around for more than 50 years, but it has never been so powerful or usable or affordable and accessible unless 2 years ago, right? Now children have access to AI. You could be anyone and you have access to AI. All you need is a smartphone and a data connection, right? So there are huge commitment from the initiative, commitment, energy, excitement from the government to do this as well, right? So imagine we had a first revolution of computers becoming affordable, which is your smartphone. Then data become affordable with our Geo launch and so on and so forth. Now AI is affordable, right? So already the big leap is happening. So if everything is so rosy, right? If everything is so good, why am I here? Why are we all here, right? It's all good. Let's go home. So there is something more, right? So I had an opportunity to meet Jensen Huang, is the CEO of NVIDIA. He was visiting Bombay a few months ago, and something he told me and that stuck with me like a set in stone, right? So India has the potential. He believes that India should transform itself from the world's IT back office to a product leader, to a technology leader, right? So if you look at that, and that couldn't be more true, right? If you look at how the IT industry makes money today. So IT services is about 53%. That means we are building software for someone else, right? Some Walmart business, some some global banks business, some insurance companies business, sometimes even migrating their old COBOL mainframe to new age computing and cloud, lift and shift, what not, right? Then comes the ITES, which is about 21%. This includes our BPO, KPO, so on and so forth, right? So if you look at it in that order, products are just about 6%. This includes some of the biggest success from India like your Freshworks, Zoho and so on, right? Even if you take success story of all of that, we are just at 6% of the products. When I say products, think of it like, do we have an operating system that the world uses that was built by us? Do we have a Photoshop the world uses that was built by us? So the only example right now we have is like maybe an UPI, right? In fact, as part of the G20, India has been exporting UPI to other countries. There's a lot of smaller countries that is now adopting UPI. NPCI set up an international corporation and they are doing it. So that equivalent we need in our products. Just think of, see everything on your phone. How many of them are Indian applications? Maybe you have one Ola, right? Maybe one Ghana.com, something like this, right? Just open your phone, open your laptop and see how many products in it. Is it a browser? Is it an operating system? Is it an application? It's not from here, right? So changing that is the leap that we are talking about, and AI can definitely help, right? So there are some challenges to it, right? So first let's understand our entire IT industry, ITS has been built on VFM, value for money, cheap and best, right? We are cheap and best, right? So why do GCCs are set up everywhere? Today I learned more GCCs are in Madurai than other cities I knew about. I mean, so we offer abundant talented manforce, right? And then the value for money. But what if this changes? What if this proposition changes? And you won't believe it's already changing. Why? Same reason, the same enabler that is making anyone accessible to AI is also helping companies to reduce human efforts altogether, right? If a company as big as Google can use AI to do 25% of their work, anyone can do. In fact, my 12-year-old son learns coding and he does half the work himself, half the work is done by ChatGPT, right? And in 5 years from now, it could be like 90% done by the AI and 5% just the humans are supervising it. It could be that, right? And yeah, so I'll just play a few seconds of it. This is a demo of...
I'm Alex. I lead developer relations at Anthropic, and today I'm going to be showing you a coding task with computer use. So we're going to be showing Claude doing a website coding task by actually controlling my laptop. But before we start coding, we need an actual website for Claude to make changes to. So let's ask Claude to navigate to Claude.ai within my Chrome browser and ask Claude within Claude.ai to create a fun 90s themed personal homepage for itself. Claude opens Chrome, searches for Claude.ai, and then types in a prompt asking the other Claude to create a personal homepage for itself. Claude.ai returns some code, and that gets nicely rendered in an artifact on the right-hand side. That looks great, but I want to make a few changes to the website locally on my own.
So you can build a website in about 10 minutes now, right? It's taking over the browser, it's taking over the VS Code. You are only giving instruction in spoken English. It's like telling someone, it's almost like that. Come here, do this, do that. You're giving instructions. You don't even need a HTML. One of the basic programming skills that you would learn in your first year engineering, you don't even need that. All you need is spoken English and you are good to go, right? People are building applications, then listing that on App Store. People are building modules and putting that on marketplaces and making money. I mean, the world has changed, right? So if we are still thinking about, okay, we need business in dollar and pound, let's go after international client and be the back office for them, we may not be in business for a long time, because there is much cheaper, almost free tools available to do that. Claude is like $20, ChatGPT is $20 a month to do any of this task, right? And they do a damn good job. Same with ITS. In fact, ITS was the first to feel that impact. This article is from 10 years ago, right? And since then, we have been slowly losing out on more and more of ITS to other low-cost countries. I mean, 40 years ago, we were low-cost. We are no longer the low-cost, right? So Philippines, which has about 97% English proficiency, and even Eastern Europe that doesn't really speak English, they are now the ITES destination. Again, AI makes it possible, right? So, for example, you could have a deep South Indian accent, Bihar accent, Albanian accent, but there is a AI tool that will mask your accent and make it neutral, right? So I can set up a call center in Azerbaijan or Nigeria, doesn't matter. To the end customer, it sounds neutral. So why are we the low cost? We are not low cost anymore. There is somebody who will do it for, if we are doing it for $1, there is somebody doing it for 20 cents, right? So our entire promise, the two promise of abundant skill and value for money, doesn't hold true in the age of AI. So it's an enabler. Also, it takes away the status quo for us, right? So what should we do, right? Where is this leap? That's what's the topic given, right? So we are ingenious, right? We as a country, we are ingenious and frugal. That means we do cheaply, we do it economically viably. We don't spend it the way an American would spend. We are much more frugal, and we are innovative in many aspects. I'll show you an example. When we can combine those two, our frugality and our ingenuity, there is superpower, right? So this example is actually from Madurai. Okay, so can anyone tell me what this is? It's not obvious. It's not a religious product. Can anyone tell me what this might be? It has something to do with technology. Yes. Save? Yeah. So it's an IoT device, right? Created by Sendil from GeoVio in Madurai. He was supposed to be here, he couldn't. He's in Delhi today, I think. So it's an IoT device. It's meant for poor and tribal women to wear. And there is an entire story behind why it looks like a Jabamalai, right? There's an entire story to it. So initially it was a band, but then data was all over the place because the husband would wear it because it looks attractive, or children would wear it and run around. That's not the vitals of a woman in her 9th or 8th month of pregnancy, right? So the data was all over the place. So they had to come up with a way so that it's truly personal and somebody wouldn't take it. So religious products, it's truly personal. Nobody will take your religious item from you, right? So they designed it this way. So this is an amazing example. Or this was almost 40 years ago. This is called Ariane payload, Apple, APPLE, right? So ISRO had to test this satellite before sending it to France to launch it in the orbit. Any idea why is it in a bullock cart? Not that we didn't have trucks to transport. So they had to test this in a non-magnetic interference environment. We didn't have the lab. Some other countries had, but it would have added to the project delay and so on and so forth. So they hired a bullock cart, put the satellite, took it far away from any magnetic interference. They tested it. So it was at that date, like 40 years ago, it cost them some 200 rupees to do this whole exercise, right? So we have seen this, or Mangalyaan, right? The Mars mission. We did it at a cost of 70 million. That is 30% cheaper than the movie Martian, right? We went to Mars 30% cheaper than the movie about going to Mars, right? So the same value for money that we have, less we are low cost. Yes, we will do it cheaper, but we need to add some more ingenuity to it, right? We need to think out of the box, right? So here again, talking of low cost, that is Rajan Anandan. He was in conversation with Sam Altman, who's the CEO of ChatGPT. It comes down to cost. He's saying, can we do this in 10 million? See the response.
Sam, can you just going to startups? I mean, as you know, we've got a very vibrant startup ecosystem in India. Specifically focused on AI, are there spaces where you see, let's say, a startup from India building, you can build on the models, be it ChatGPT and many others. But if you want to build foundational models, how should we think about that? Where is it that a team from India, 3 super smart engineers with, not 100 million, but let's say 10 million, could actually build something truly substantial?
Look, the way this works is we're going to tell you it's totally hopeless to compete with us on training foundation models. You shouldn't try, and it's your job to try anyway. And I believe both of those things.
Can you believe that what he said? He said it's hopeless.
I think it is pretty hopeless, but
yeah, he said you can't build a foundational model in 10 million, and he said it's hopeless. But I will try anyways. This video, and how many of you know DeepSeek? What was the cost of DeepSeek? 6 million, 4 million cheaper than what Rajan was offering, right? So you don't see, if you're trying to do what an American does in India, it's not going to work. We need to use our strength. We need to play to our strengths, right? So DeepSeek did it at 40% lower than what Rajan was offering. Even 10 million sounds like too much, right? I genuinely wish we should have been the one to pull this off, not DeepSeek. But anyways, here we are, right? So, but luckily, as of yesterday, I was reading ET and I saw this. There are 120 more proposals to build a foundational model, a sovereign, a indigenous LLM model. So we already have AI for Bharat and all those, but there are 120 more startups working on this. That is promising, right? So where are we getting at, right? So there is a lot of opportunities that AI has created for us, right? And we have to move from being the back office to an product centric country, and that is possible, and that's going to happen very soon. We may not have so many opportunities in this back office IT anymore, or at least in a future that will sweep us with before we know it, right? And there are some risks, for example, cyber security risk, whether it's enterprise or at consumer level. The same AI, again, we are creative people, we are ingenious people, so the same AI that used by some entrepreneur to build a, save the mom, could be used by some scamster to rip you off, right? You get that FedEx call, we get the scam calls, and so on and so forth. So we also have to watch out on that, and upskilling and training people is all the more, right? So we have potential, like we have the second largest repository of AI code base in GitHub, on Hugging Face, and also on the almost all the startups. 70% is much lower. I think 100% of startups today are using AI in some capacity to take them to the next level. So with AI doing all this, and we have so much more to understand AI. The agentic AI is the flavor of the season now, and we already have quantum computers, right? Before we could fully understand, it's like you are planning to have a child and you got twins, so it's like that. So I haven't even had parenting experience of raising one child, suddenly I have two. It's like that, right? So we haven't fully explored AI, we haven't fully understood AI, and now we have quantum computers. So quantum computers is not just about speed, right? It's not about speed, it's a whole new way of computing. So the best way to understand this would be same as your mainframe computers, that was the size of the stage, right? Versus the mobile phone, which is much faster than the mainframe computer in your pocket, or the moving from vacuum tubes to transistors. It's the same way. We are not making faster computer, but a whole new style of computing. So what would take a classical computer few years, few million years, few thousand years to crack, a quantum computer would do it in few minutes, right? So Google Willow, 2 months ago, they showcased something. What would take septillion years, which is 10 to the power of 25, the Willow quantum computer takes 5 minutes to do it. It's a testing exercise called RCS, random circuit sampling, right? So these are all, and if you should see it to believe the size of the quantum computer is not, so it used to be like this, right? It used to be the size of this room. Last month, Microsoft announced Marona, right? It's the size of a half of a mobile phone. That's it. It gets in your palm, right? So Maronara 1, right? So Google is already in its third generation Core and Willow now. This is the first generation of Microsoft's quantum chip. So previously, this was IBM's quantum computer a few years ago, right? So it required a lot more of infrastructure. The same way how we moved from a mainframe computer the size of a room to the smartphone that we all have today. So before we know, probably suddenly somebody is launching a quantum powered laptop, quantum powered hardware acceleration in your laptops to do better graphics. It could be anything, right? So we haven't fully understood AI, and we already have quantum at that. So this year, the Nobel Prize in chemistry was actually given to one of the AI professional. Anyone knows who won the chemistry prize this year? It was Demis Hassabis. He is the founder CEO of DeepMind, which is now Google DeepMind, the Google's AI head, right? So he started. He had a theory. He used to play chess as a child, and he had a theory that I will first make computers to learn itself. Once computer can learn itself, then we can teach it, ask it to learn anything and do better job than us. That was his theory. So he started by building AlphaGo, which was a game. It beat the world champion. Then they built AlphaZero, which is the world's strongest chess engine. All this were their experiments. The third product they built, called the AlphaGo, that does the protein structure analysis, which won the Nobel Prize this year, right? So Nobel Prize in chemistry this year was won actually by AI. not by two people in a laboratory. Can you believe it? Right? So now imagine if you add quantum to this, that's the catalyst. It's like pouring fuel to the fire, right? Pouring fuel to the fire, right? So whether it is drug discovery, new molecular discovery, in fact, BYD, the EV car from China, they launched a new battery last week. It takes 5 minutes to charge and can go up to 400 kilometers. 5 minutes. Your smartphone wouldn't go for 2 hours with 5 minutes of charge. Imagine a car charged for 5 minutes can go up to 400 kilometers. Tesla with a 15-minute charge can go up to 250 kilometers. So suddenly there's a whole world looking at BYD with a rose tinted lens than Tesla, right? So this kind of a battery configuration, imagine if they have done something nice, right? So this is where a quantum computer can solve much more complex problem, right? Logistics, drug discovery, material discovery, better battery configuration, better chemical analysis, better protein analysis, drug for cancer, maybe we will do it, right? So these are the opportunities, and we have to work towards, okay, can I build this for some American company? No, please don't do that. That is the whole point I'm making, right? If we start using this to build products that, like, think of an UPI, think of what we have achieved with an UPI. Can one of us build the next UPI from here? In fact, last week, IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, he was talking at a ET conference. There was more than 400 CEOs, all the Birlas of the world, and his pledge was the same. Can some of the biggest corporates and entrepreneurs here take up building the next big IT product that the world will use? It could be an operating system, it could be an application, right? So that's the opportunity we need to work towards, right? So let's take the pledge. Let's move from the world's back office IT operations to product company. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And you just show our futuristic things all at all. You just been seeing like this. Thank you so much for being part of us today. And now it's time for honoring this person. Let's invite for this Mr. Subramanian sir on stage, please. To honoring the person of today's speakers, Mr. SreeramanThiagarajan sir. Thank you so much for joining us today once again. So please give it a big round of applause to them. Thank you. And next we go with our next session. And before that, we're going to change our session over right now. Please change this.